Guys, let's see what we got. I think this is working. Let me just make sure. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. Cool. So now I have the chat going. Does not show me who's in here though. That's fine. Whatever. All right, cool. So this is gonna be really fast. I only have about half an hour today, which is why I actually started on time for once, because I'm never on time. But yeah, I got a hard stop at 7:30, but I thought it might be fun to do a really quick mini stream just about the episode I was in, show you guys a little bit of it, and also answer any questions that you guys have, either about what it was like to film, any other kind of general questions, the interview process, because I was scouted, but I still did go through an interview, kind of like I actually did apply to a show a couple years back, and the interview process was really, really similar there as well. So I figured that shut up, Kat. Shut up. I have to be on time because Eric's D&D game is at 7:30. That's why it had to be on time. That's the only reason. So like ironically, I was just like, screw it, I have to start on time anyway. So you remember how it was going to be on Tuesday, and then I was like, oh, Hulu took down the episode. I need to get the episode before I can stream this. I thought I had the episode because we got it TiVo'd from Scone's mom, but apparently TiVo sucks, and you can't watch TiVo unless you have watched TiVo on that device for the first time from the network that the TiVo is on. So I actually still don't have the damn episode. I've got like a really shitty clip that someone did of like about half of it. And then I have like the final clip that's like real, and then ABC actually uploaded it and it's nice. So like I'll get it at some point. Like it will be available on Hulu at some point in time, and also I'll just dial into her computer and freaking record it that way. But like I'm done with it. I'm done with it. I've spent like 2 hours trying to find this stupid thing. Like I'm so mad. So you guys can see like the shitty version of it for now, and when it's uploaded I will like put it somewhere so that anyone can watch it whenever. It's really weird. Like you can't find any of season 4 or 5. I don't understand what happened. It was totally there until recently. Yeah, I figure I'll show a bit of the clip for now, and you guys can see it in its like bad quality glory. And then once the real one's up, I'll link you guys to it to watch whenever. But yeah, why don't I start off with the actual clip thing itself? Or yeah, I'll just do the clip itself. That's fine. We'll do that for now. Sorry about the quality, by the way. I did not do this. I mean, thank you to whoever is a big Paul Rubin fan and apparently just like recorded this and the Paul Rubin bits. Because otherwise I would have a big 0-0 to show you guys. But here's part of this. And for those who don't know, To Tell the Truth is like this really old game show from I think it's like the 50s or the 60s. Like it's really old. Like Price is Right old. And essentially the concept is you get like a bunch of celebrities, and then you get 3 people up on stage, and one of them has done a cool thing. Like they've had like the lady who did the voice of Siri. One of the guys on my episode was an Olympic diver. Like, so people who either have like cool jobs or weird hobbies or just kind of interesting stuff. And basically you've got that person who has to truthfully answer all of the questions. And then you've got 2 liars. And sometimes they're actors, sometimes they're just like cool people who are really similar and who can also lie very well. And the panel essentially just asks fun questions and then tries to guess who's the actual liar and who's telling the truth. So like when they were coaching us, and I'll talk a little bit more about this afterwards, but that's the premise. And my episode was cool because Jason Alexander was there, and I like Jason Alexander a lot. So that was really fun. And my bit also had like a special guest star who y'all will see if you haven't seen this already. Unfortunately, this clip cuts in a little late. So like the way it starts out is we're all standing there silhouetted and we look really cool. Then we lie and we say I'm a cosplayer. In this case, I think they scouted me because I'd won the crown. So the actual line was I'm a cosplay champion. Um, and then they basically start asking questions, and this is kind of the first one, got cut off a tiny bit, but I'm gonna mute myself so y'all can watch it.
Where did your costume come from? Did you make it, or did the wardrobe department here on the show provide it for you?
Nope, I made this costume and I made most of what's up on the stage.
Fantastic. Imposter number 2. Why did you let her make you that?
What are you? I am No Face. Spirited Away.
Abby, have anything you want to ask them?
This is a lot going on. All right. 1, what does a construction consist of? You can sew, you can make armor, you can do special effects with prosthetics. I like to do everything, honestly. 2,
Working with plastic, heat, minor welding sometimes. I mean, it really depends. There's all different kinds of materials and all different types of ways to make a costume and materials to use.
what was the first cosplay costume you ever made?
One of the earliest cartoons I ever saw was Mr. Magoo. I was struck with it and I decided to try it.
Struck with Mr. Magoo?
Yes, sir.
Number 3, where do you derive your...
Yeah, whoever recorded this just loves that guy and fast forwarded a bunch of the questions.
You guys judged on. Number 2.
A technical difficulty of our costume, what it's made of, how well it's made. It depends on which category we're in. I do what I consider to be performance art, and so we're judged by performance, if that's the category, etc.
I have a question. Number 3, what costume did you win with?
All right, we're all locked in. Will the real cosplay champion please stand up? Please introduce yourself to our panel here.
Hi, my name's Regan, and I'm a cosplay educator and a craftsperson.
All right. I think we have a photo here. $5,000. Imposter number 3, we all went with you except for Dermot. What's your name? And tell us all about yourself.
I'm Cynthia Zitter, and I'm not a cosplay champion, but I did dress like a fairy to pay my rent.
Imposter number 2, please tell us your name and all about yourself.
I am not a cosplay player, but I am actor Paul Rubens.
No!
Also known as Pee Wee Herman.
Look at that! Pee Wee Herman!
A lot of the actual questions, unfortunately, got cut off because this person just loves Pee Wee Herman, apparently. Yeah, once I actually have the whole thing, I'll put it up. Because it was fun because so at first they were just like, what the hell? And then they asked a couple questions to try and trick up people, like what's a big thing that you've done? What was the costume made out of? And the gal that I put in the Loki outfit was like, she like did her research. She like showed up with a whole notebook of things she'd researched ahead of time for her character, and then like we talked for like a long time, so she like memorized a bunch of information, so she like tricked them all into thinking that she was the person, and also because she was very bubbly and very personable, and they thought I was too serious, which is funny. But yeah, I want the clip itself is like really really charming. I wish it hadn't been spun through, but I'm done trying to find this stupid thing. I'll just record it once I can get into that computer. But yeah, so the way, Amanda, the way it was is, and they do this for all of the clips, is at the end everyone like kind of pretends like they're the one standing up. It's like their little shtick that they do. Well, okay, look, I was too serious because basically a lot of like we showed up at like 10, like 9:30. We showed up really early. Actually no, we showed up at 12. That's my bad. We showed up at 12 in like full makeup. And the next couple hours was spent with them quizzing and grilling the two liars, because it's all live. And apparently every once in a blue moon they'll be like, are you the liar? And someone will be like, yeah. So, or they'll just like freeze up and freak out. So a lot of the time is spent like quizzing the two liars on how to like be convincing and leading and stuff, and then telling the truthful person to like don't go into a ton of detail or sound really passionate or sound really happy, because otherwise, like, you know, you're gonna talk about the thing you like a lot. So specifically I was asked to like tone it the hell down and like be more serious, and I guess I did it too much. But whatever. Yeah, I was professional. Yeah, can't be late for Eric. But I'll put the full clip up because it's a lot more fun to watch, I think. But yeah, there you go. That's the preview of it. It was very fun. If you guys have any questions, pop them in the chat. I did have one from Instagram that was really good. Let me pull it up real fast. And this is from YNV Cosplay. And their question was, how do you vet sponsors or opportunities like this one from the sketchy ones? And that's a super, super good question. Because, you know, sometimes you'll get actual... Because this was... they reached out to me. This was the casting director. I think they must have seen something to do with the C2E2 crown, and they reached out to me. This was not actually something that I had contacted them about. I did still have to do the interview process, because I think what they do is they find like a list of cool people who would be cool for the show, and then they still want to interview and make sure that you're not like a big fool on camera, and that you have a personality and that kind of thing. But, you know, how do you see that email and tell that it's legit versus something that's maybe not legit? And let me pull up actually the email, because I think that might kind of help show the difference between the two. Sometimes it's not it's usually pretty obvious. There has been one case where it has not been obvious. Come on. Oh no, where's my email? All right. So, let's switch back to my other page. So this is the email I got. And essentially what you're looking for is who the person is sending it, what is their company, what are they asking you to do, what are they compensating you with, and also some identifying information. So like in this case, we've got all of that. We've got the name of this person who I immediately Googled, and yes, they are a legit casting director, so that's like a big thumbs up right there. This is a real show. I looked it up. I found clips of it. You know, her info is in here, blah, 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 mentioning this kind of stuff is legit. And then, of course, we had an actual Skype interview, and afterwards, like a DocuSign and like official forms and NDAs and that kind of thing. So it's really the amount of information, and then Googling the company as well as the person sending the email. Because in this case, this person actually was from a Gmail address, which is not always a bad thing, but like usually when it's from a domain, it's a little nicer in my opinion. An example of just like a right off the bat, this is a big fat bullshit that you should ignore. This is something that I got a couple weeks ago. This isn't even the first email in the chain. The first email in the chain is just like, hey, you want to do a model thing, and then like that was it, which is already just like the worst. So in this case, no word about who the client is. Huge red flag. Second of all, they won't tell you where the job location is, just that it's, quote, near you, which is like the hugest red flag. And then you need to send them information about yourself and photos. That is just absolutely, don't touch that. Like if they won't tell you who they are, who they work for, and you need to send them anything before you get this information, like don't touch it. This is a scam that's really common in the modeling community, actually. And I guess they've decided that cosplayers don't know any better, so they've moved on to us. I'd say one thing that I've gotten that was not immediately obvious as a scam was an MLM seller tried to contact me, and I didn't let them get super far in, so I'm not like 100% sure what the end goal was, but essentially they said, oh, we want to do a sponsorship, here's the product, here's the website. And I went to the website, and the website was like an actual website where you can buy this garbage. And the product was there. The website name, though, was different from what the actual product was, so it wasn't until they sent me the catalog with the product name and I then Googled the product itself that I realized that it was an MLM. So essentially, just constantly research any information in the email, and if there isn't information, anyone legit is going to give you that information for you to look into. All right, let me see what other questions we got. So why did I choose the cosplays? And I think there was one about the cosplays up. Yeah, so why did I choose the cosplays? Did they have any specific cosplays in mind? So they definitely, when we were on the Skype call, one thing they mentioned is they thought it'd be really cool for everyone to be in cosplay, which, like, I don't doubt that is, like, part of why they wanted to do this. And I said, yeah, cool. Here's ones that I think would fit the bill. And they specifically did not want any, they needed ones that they could get permission for. So they've had trouble with, like, anime in the past, because it's hard to get a hold of that kind of thing, or like properties they don't own, whereas, you know, ABC is owned by Disney, so anything Disney is good, and then anything that like I made is good, and anything that's like Sakizo like is not really a concern. So I picked out 6 that I didn't think would have a copyright problem, and also were things that I thought that people could like sit and move in. And what I ended up with was No Face. I didn't realize Paul Rubin was going to wear it. I told them, like, kind of, you need to be somewhat close to my measurements. But originally I'd actually borrowed Jackie's No Face dress as well. So it was Loki, No Face, Necromancer. And then I'd also included Ponyo, which they tried to put her in, but they couldn't figure out how it went on her body. So then they just were like, screw it, whatever. I sent them, they really wanted Suki for some reason. I was like, are y'all sure? This is like a lot of armor. And they're like, yeah, we want it. I think they just like really liked how it looked. So I sent them Suki. And then what was a 6th one? What? I think I'd suggested a 6th one, and there was one that they didn't take, and they took those 5. And they had me send them all 5, and I was like, holy shit, this is a lot of shipping. So yeah, it was like 4 boxes of stuff. And I sent it down there, and I think they dressed the other two up in them. Because I had told them I should do necromancer. I don't think anyone else should sit around in a corset all day, and I'm super used to wearing that outfit. And I think they just tried them on the day before. And then it was funny. I was wearing necromancer with the whole get up, but the other gal is like really small, like she's really small and thin, and they're just like, you just look so much bigger than she does, even with the horns. So we ended up taking off the bolero from me and then teasing the shit out of my Loki wig, which I've not actually unteased yet, to try and balance the two together. So that was that. Was it a similar interview process for your Adam Savage interview, and how is it doing appearances with only one half of Cowboy Crunchies? No, the interview was very, very, very different. So Adam Savage's interview was like a fun chat about cosplay, and the whole thing was aired. This was essentially an audition. And I auditioned for Cosplay Melee back in 2017 as well, and was interviewed for that too. And it was kind of similar. It was a little less leading, but essentially what they were trying to do was a couple things. Like, first of all, they wanted to make sure that I could speak on camera. Because yeah, I might have done cool stuff, but if I can't talk, I can't talk. So make sure that I can speak well, make sure that I have a good personality. So like, for cosplay, I think this is more important for the other show, which was a reality TV show, and they want you to be really peppy and upbeat and like very, gain people's attention. And I was specifically told to like be over the top with that during the Skype interview. Whereas here, they did not specifically request that I go over the top, but they said be energetic, just keep talking, because there were interview people asking questions. But that interview then gets recorded and chopped and then shown to other casting people. So for this, Scone actually did interview with me. Originally, they were talking about us both going down there, and then they'd have a set of two, a set of two, a set of two, and I think they decided that was just like, that was too much. So it was just, they were just going to take one person in the end. But we both actually interviewed for this. And a lot of what was asked was just very general questions about how do you craft, when did you get started, what do you really like about it, what's like the weirdest thing you've ever made. This show is a bunch of questions essentially, and so they were asking more or less what they expected I would be asked on the show, and what I would be saying in response to that live, to kind of give them a sense of how good of a fit it would be. With Cosplay Melee, there was a lot of that, but there was definitely some more like emotional leads that they were trying to go down, because a lot of times with reality TV, I think they want a personality and they want people to play particular roles, and I think they were trying to figure out what role I would fit into. Like, oh, am I a person who would like throw a big fit if something didn't go my way, or be really mad at one of the other contestants if they did something, like stuff like that. So when the questions started to go into that, that's when I like tanked the interview, and I didn't do very well with that. So I was not on Cosplay Melee, obviously. Was I auditioning for this? No, I was auditioning for the first season, I thought. Yeah, but I thought I was auditioning for the first season.
No, you were auditioning for the second season. They had pulled some more people, and then they were doing auditions for the second season.
Oh.
I mean, they never ended up making any more of it, so...
Okay, apparently I auditioned for the second season. I thought it was the first season because I thought I didn't know how long it was going to be for. But then they never made it anyway, so whatever. Yeah. So I guess my advice for if you're in one of these interviews is, be very personable, be very energetic. You don't have to be peppy or whatever. You just need to be expressive. Don't be monotone, that kind of thing. And, just show that you're a good speaker and that you have a good personality, that you're very passionate. And then if you are going down the route of a reality TV show, it probably would be worthwhile to, be more emotional, I suppose. That's what they want, unfortunately. So it kind of just depends on how bad you want it, I guess. Yeah, Suki would have been, insane. Cool. So I think we have 5 more minutes if anyone else has other questions in the meantime. Yeah, once I get my nubby hands on this, I'll stick it on YouTube because they clearly don't care. But yeah, it was fun. I had a really good time. It was funny. I did all my makeup ahead of time. And then we went over there, and then they were like, okay, now we're gonna do everyone's makeup, and I was like, fuck, because I was the only one who'd done all my makeup. And so I was like, oh, should I get them fix my makeup so I look good on the camera? And I walked over and I looked down at her station, and it was literally, I shit you not, the exact same foundation that I used. So I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, bring the drama. That's a said. Yeah, if you're willing to bring the drama, you are a shoo-in for reality TV. Not for this. For this, they have normal people on this show. They don't have the actual contestants are not actors, but they want people who have interesting personalities, or who there was other people on my episode who were just stone cold, did not, I mean, but that's what they are, and they're not fitting a role, they're there as themselves. So that's fine. As long as you're a good speaker, it's not a problem. Was there anything that stood out to me during filming? Was there anything that stood out during filming? So I've done amateur filming before. I used to be A-Chan for Anime Boston, and we did a bunch of filming. And unfortunately, when you film, you spend 6 hours sitting around doing nothing. And then you go and you film for 10 minutes, and then you're done. And that's just the way it is, unfortunately. And I knew that already, so I was not bothered or confused by this whatsoever. But that is the way filming works. Filming is just an absolutely enormous amount of time of sitting around and waiting for the shots to be set up. Even though this was in front of a live audience, this was incredibly fast filming. There was some parts where they would go down for commercials, but aside from that, there was no setting up of the shots in the middle of things, which blew my mind. They had 3 cameras going at all times, and somehow they just knew to keep switching angles between the 2 of them. So that was honestly the most thing to me, the fact that we were not stopping and setting up the shot each time. That was really, really interesting. The foundation I use is RCMA, which is awesome, and Isla uses that too. Isla's the one who told me about it. And then how do you negotiate getting paid for these types of things? If it is a legit company, and especially if it is a legit film thing, you do not need to negotiate that. That is something they should be just doing off the bat. Reality TV, honest to God, I don't know how that works. That you might have to pay because you're competing for money. But in this case, this is essentially the same as you are being employed as an actor. And that's actually the paperwork that I signed. I don't have to join a guild because I haven't done it enough yet. But you are being paid to work, and that was upfront provided. If someone has come to you and they're not offering to pay you right off the bat, it's usually not a great sign, but you can always turn around, if it's a smaller company especially, and say, look, this is my rates for this number of posts. I'm open to negotiation, but you need to compensate me in some fashion. I think you'll have more problems with like smaller companies who are reaching out to you as an influencer versus something like this, which is a true paid line of work, and they are used to paying professionals who they're employing as well. But now it is time for me to go play D&D with Eric. Thank you guys so much for watching. Once I have my hands on the real episode, I will upload it somewhere and then link it in the various places and stuff. But yeah, if you guys have other questions, just I think my Instagram story is still up. If you send them in there and I miss something,